Hello, my name is Tyson Usselman, and this is my virtual classroom setup that I chose to do. The resource I chose to use was Schoology. Um, and looking back now, I'm curious to see what Google Classroom or Canva or some other type of setup would be a little bit better. I think this is more teacher friendly than student friendly, but um, going through this, the first initial announcement is right here. As they log in, that's the first thing they see in the course. And it just runs through some reminders and welcome to the class, and then the initial prompt that they need to submit. And they would just write their answers to this right here, and it would show up for me to grade and give feedback on. And then the week one overview, the announcement is here. They can also click on it and see everything they need to see with the announcement within the folder. And so it's got some helpful hints, databases to use, guiding them to the resource folder that's on the main page. Within that resource folder, I'll show you in a minute, there's a ton of stuff, but rubrics and examples, reminders of formatting, and reminders of discussion posts. And then this week's objectives are to get a base on where we're at as a class on proficiency levels and work on some initial skills in U.S. history. And the assignments, it's the initial post, a welcome survey, which is linked right here, which gives me a little more detail, more student biography, and I attempt to gain some information in order to create other assignments and activities that are more tied to various cultures and backgrounds and goals of the students. And then the two thematic discussion questions. Discussion question one, we the people. Here they have this overall set of questions and ideas to think about. And their main resource is this TED Talk, but also they have databases and other resources within the supplemental material they can use. The second discussion question is why study painful history. Again, it's a thematic question where they are asked to look at the hard parts of history and why they're are they as important as studying the exciting or celebrated parts of history. And then a pretest is just kind of some of the key concepts. There's a mix of different types of questions in this, from multiple choice, drag and drop, to short answer. And then some of the supportive materials. There's a brainstorming Padlet where they go, and the class has the ability to talk to each other and brainstorm some bigger ideas. The National Archives, talking about some of the foundational principles and ideals of the nation, tying to helping them answer really both of these questions. And then a Kahoot, which is kind of a fun challenge. And if we were in person, we'd probably do that together, or if we were able to get online together at the same time, we would do this Kahoot challenge together. Even virtually, you could do that, and it gives good feedback and gives them a good idea of where they're at on some of those ideas. In this case, the founding documents and ideals of the United States. And if I didn't mention that, my course would be United States history and geography. Week two, we're getting into more of the specific content, in this case pre-Columbian civilizations, with the announcement and the objectives, various native populations interacting and their societies, building the differences and similarities between those systems, and then looking at perspective and how culture and perspective can change different people's decision making and belief systems. And within that, it's a simpler week. Got the two discussion questions and then a larger assessment project. And so discussion one, society and social structures. Choose two different geographical regions, compare and contrast social structures and economies of the pre-Columbian societies. What do you think led to these differences? And then people in the environment, again, exploring pre-Columbian civilizations, and then tying it to today with evidence of lasting impacts. The assessment is a time tourism project where they get a little bit of choice and they can work with a team to choose different specific civilizations to do a little bit of research on, and then it's got some guided paragraphs on what they need to do and how they need to write it. And again, supplemental resources are within that. Different debates that will help provide them some good perspectives on how different groups saw these topics, primary sources, maps, geography, lots of different stuff. Okay. And then last thing is the resource material, and there's probably too much in here, but PowerPoints and keynotes from various lectures that they can look at, and it's got a ton of videos and primary sources within those Kahoots that they can go through and answer, and these would cover essentially the entire course and the different time periods, so like an 8-week course or whatever. But and they could play those games and do reviews. Videos, there's videos for specific topics, there's videos over overall time periods, rubrics, primary source databases, and then if they wanted to practice some of the key vocabulary, they could do that as well for any type of assessment that was coming up.